How's it going? Once again, the Book of the Faith says, try this new video. Shut up. Try this new video way. So I don't even know if this is freaking working. We're gonna try it now, and we're gonna see. I don't even see what people are. But anyway, hey, welcome back. Happy zombie virus and all that good stuff. We're gonna be all right. Starting Pat McDonough Show. 2 hours of power, baby, for you. There you go. Come on. Everybody comes on and say hi. Hi. Let me know that you're hearing me and let me know that everything is good. That's all. That's all I gotta do.
Backdoor cold front. Stick around into Sunday. We're seeing very little by way of rain opportunities. We're going to ramp that up a bit as we get into the work week. Stronger low pressure developing. And we will see the best shot at the rain coming Monday into Tuesday.
Right.
Now for tonight, partly cloudy, mid to upper 50s. 4 hours Sunday, clouds, a little cooler than where we were Saturday. Around 70, maybe a stray shower. Straight scattered showers ahead for Sunday night. Best chances for rain and possible thunderstorms Monday. Jeff Eno for the weather.
This is live, ain't it, baby?
Radio 680 WCBM.
I've got a snack that'll add a little kaboom.
It's gotta be live, yeah.
Diet. Or would that be
I hope someone comes on and lets me see that this is doing okay. That's all. Little thing that it's doing okay. Little thing.
And if keto's not your thing, you'll still love the high protein these rinds deliver. Flavors like Korean kimchi barbecue, honey chipotle, pineapple ancho chili, and more. Visit porkrinds.com to find your flavor. Boom!
Visit porkrinds.com today for your southern recipe small batch pork rinds.
While you can't believe everything on social media these days, you can believe it's possible to start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Instead of waiting to see what happens when life gets back to normal, take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week.
Anybody here yet?
It's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career.
Anybody here yet?
The WCBM studios are sponsored by Safe Retirement Solutions in Annapolis and Towson. Call Rod Baroe 410-266-1120 or visit saferetirementsolutions.com.
The views and opinions you hear on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and WCBM.com are not necessarily those of the owners, management, employers, and advertisers of WCBM. But they should be.
The Pat McDonough Show is brought to you by Rally for America. Talk Radio 680 WCBM. Time now for the Pat McDonough Show. Here's your host, Pat McDonough.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the program. It is actually Super Citizen Radio with Pat and Valerie McDonough, and we will get that lead-in changed pretty soon. Now, Valerie, move that microphone closer to yourself.
Notice how I'm not hitting it.
And don't hit it.
I won't hit it.
Getting complaints from the audience that you're blowing their ears off.
No, we don't.
Okay. Well, we have some great people in tonight, some great guests. Joining us on the half hour at 8:30 will be Congressman Andy Harris. And we have a lot of questions for the Congressman about the new Pelosi desperation radical left Christmas tree bill. And Andy always knows a lot of stuff. I'll tell you, Andy knows stuff. And also how the Baltimore Sun was unmerciful to him. Unmerciful, I'm telling you. And, anybody that's a conservative, anybody that's a Republican, they are going to be vicious too. Yeah. But I am surrounded by beautiful women this evening. I have Sophia Montgomery, who is a Baltimore County businesswoman. And I want you also, I criticized my wife. I didn't criticize her, I suggest. You got to move the mic closer to you.
Okay.
So 10,000 people can hear your opinion on things, okay? And then we have, once again, our good friend Nicola Ambrose, who deserves congratulations because she won re-election in the Maryland, in this committee, the Maryland Republican State Central Committee, as the National Committee woman. And she is a favorite of our great president, Donald Trump, and she was challenged.
One fact what people don't know is that Donald
Trump
who's calling? Endorsed Nicola.
Yes, he did.
And that's the
Jim
first
Wise.
time I think that's ever been done for him to do something like that.
Oh my gosh. First of all, thank
And you're from WASS? Okay. Yeah. Okay, and you're with Reopen Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well.
All right, Jim, hold on.
You certainly deserve it, because I know you do
You're
something
welcome.
about you. I mean, politics is one thing, but you do a lot of stuff in charities and things of that nature that nobody knows about. You do. But in the Republican Party itself, you are an
Nobody's here yet.
buddy. I mean, you're everywhere. And you're also a wonderful singer.
You are too kind. And how did you hear about my nickname in college? That's what they call me in office.
What,
That was
the
my-
Energizer Bunny?
She's the Energizer Bunny.
Well, I married one of those, so I'm used to it. But I know you're a very good singer. And anyway, Ron, I wanted to check. Are all the mics okay?
All the mics are fine.
All right. Well, we are going to start off because Andy's going to be talking about reopening, and he's put himself on the line promoting that, and thank you, Andy, for that. We're going to talk about reopening and what that is all about, and the lockdown and how that's affected. Sophia has a great story about her business and how that's affecting her industry, actually. But we have joining us is Jim Wass.
Herr Voss. I just
Yes.
make it all German.
He was on last week for an entire 2 hours. Apparently, was not enough.
He is a busy man. He's a committed man.
Yes.
He was busy on his portable stereo system in Annapolis yesterday.
Yeah, well, he is one of the leaders of the Reopen, and he's working very hard also. So we are going to
Beautiful.
put Jim on the air
All right.
with us. And Jim, what is up? What is the latest?
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Good.
And Nicolene, good to be with you again, ma'am.
Herr Voss, we love
yeah.
you.
We just had our latest event yesterday. We marched on the Capitol. We had our Capitol picket, and just wanted to say three main things there and now, that we continue to march for our cause. The new executive order is really a weak response. We have changing conditions, our understanding of the science and the economic devastation, that's all changed, and bad policy has not made it any better. 8 or 9 counties continue to block, so we are still on the ball. We continue to sue. We talked last week about the civil rights lawsuit we filed. 2 disabled veterans, 2 businesses, 9 ministers, 4 legislators, and our group are suing the governor and other state officials. We don't think they're privileged to stand in the way of free men and free women making good choices based on sound scientific advice.
Well, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. In our history, this is very unusual. It's never been like this, except maybe under Woodrow Wilson a little bit, the First World War. But this is it. This is the time for people like yourself and others to help lead us and to stand up.
Indeed so. And we're seeking contributions for the litigation. You can go to our website, reopen-maryland.com, and push the donate here button or donate now, whatever it says, and that'll click you to GoFundMe, and you can also ask us. We have a place to send checks. But what's most exciting, we discovered part of that yesterday over the last week. We're growing. We're growing.
Now, the last time, how many people do you have on your site now?
We have over 20,000 in Facebook groups.
Wow.
That started with just one founding couple 5 weeks ago, totally frustrated over the school closures and other restrictions. Now we have the 26,000 plus. We've had 3 successful protest events, and with the court decisions around the country, generally in our favor, people are looking more positively at our lawsuit. And our statewide effort now is starting to spawn some local groups. You can find on Facebook, for instance, Reopen Hartford, Reopen Anne Arundel, and there are a lot of others, and we hope to be sponsoring events in the slow walk jurisdictions. We got to push those county executives. We got to push those people who are following.
Well, unfortunately,
I'm gonna take him to the hook.
2 Republican county executives. in the last election, unfortunately. Otherwise, those two counties would have already
I'm gonna
been
make them do
open,
this.
like Harper can.
Yep.
Elections have consequences.
And
I'm gonna make them do this.
So the Democrat mayor of Annapolis is bending more than the county executive of Annapolis.
Local 333 all the way, brothers.
It's really local. And he
This is
knows.
Ron Savage Live. Ron
Money.
Savage
Where's the money?
with the
on
Pat
that?
McDonough Show. And look, hey,
All of
support
those
your
restaurants
longshoremen,
with
Local
no
333.
volume mean no taxes.
No
No
shit.
tax. All right, Jim, anything else?
Well, the science is crumbling. We flattened the curve. Hospitals aren't overwhelmed. It is time to get back to life and stop quarantining the healthy.
Okay, you keep up the good work, okay? We appreciate it.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, buddy, you take care. All right,
Jim.
so let's talk with Sophia Montgomery. She's in the hotel business. And you can give us an example in your industry of what this does to you, not only
What
now,
about the
but in
casino
future.
business? How about this?
Well, not only are we competing against COVID, but we're also competing against the reputation of Baltimore City. So that's been putting us on the. That's been a hindrance for us for the last several years, nonetheless. But I'm in my hotel. The Country Inn is in the Rosedale area, and there are 4 hotels in White Marsh. 2 of
WCBM, this is
them
Pat
are
McDonough Show.
closed.
Ron Savage speaking. Who's calling tonight?
As we have decreased our staff
Hi,
by,
Pastor Lewis. I was
I'll
asked
say
if you could
80%.
call at 9 o'clock or if you
And
want to do a
so
couple
the
words
customers,
Because we got Andy Harris coming on at 8:30.
unless they are traveling for business, there's not a whole lot of travel in the area.
Well, guess what?
And
I'll
we
send
were
you
almost
something
sort of,
right away
I shouldn't
to
say
you.
it this
I'm
way,
gonna
but
throw a
banking
compliment.
on emergency healthcare people coming in to work at Johns Hopkins Bayview or MedStar Franklin Square. And that has
Hello?
really not happened.
Okay.
So we've kind of got it
And the hospitals are in financial
Okay, hold on,
trouble now.
Pastor.
right.
All right.
And, but we're not seeing the emergency people coming in from different states who need to stay with us, extended stay. So our staff is very minimal. It's tough out there. And especially since, Johnny O, he raised the
Hotel tax.
hotel tax from 14% to 15.5%. That
Oh.
did not help us.
Yeah. So that leads right into my point. Maryland, the state of Maryland was already an anti-business state to start with. One of the great things about our president is he built up and established a robust economy to start with when this thing hit us. They won't give him any credit for that, but he did. He had a foundational economic strength that was there and will return and will be helpful. Can you imagine this thing hitting in the middle of the Obama administration? But Maryland has an anti-business reputation to a great extent.
Too much going on. Too much.
This
Too much.
plus the governor crushing down on what the business community needs to have this opening is not helping. It's not helping. But first of all, let me give out our phone number. We haven't done that. 410-922-6680. Or the long distance toll free number is 1-800-922-6680. And also we have joining us Pastor David Lewis, who is part of that lawsuit.
Hey, go ahead,
I
Pastor.
believe, I might be wrong, but
Hey,
Pastor
go-
Lewis,
go ahead.
are you part of that lawsuit?
Hello, Pat.
Yeah.
Not yet. Just waiting to be invited.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, what is your message for us this
WCBM, the
evening?
Pat McDonough Show.
Well,
Ron
my
Savage speaking.
message
Who's calling
very
tonight?
quickly is right in line with your topic.
Sam?
We need to reopen
Hold
the
on,
churches.
Sam.
I want to encourage all the pastors around the state,
And where you calling
in
from,
particular
Sam?
in Baltimore County, to open up. There are 2 reasons we need to do that. Number one is that
And
we
would you like to
are
talk tonight,
essential,
Pat,
even though the
yes,
governor
sir.
never thought so. And the second reason we open back up is because it's our God-given constitutional right to do so. 2 weeks ago, in a meeting with the governor's task force,
Okay,
to
call
recommend
right after Pastor Lewis.
incremental
Hold on,
methodologies for reopening our houses of
Are you welcome,
worship,
Sam? Hold on.
faith leaders from across the state on the committee were informed that the public practice of our religion was non-essential, despite the fact that liquor stores and abortion clinics had their doors open.
Methadone clinics, too.
Yep. Minute and a half.
That too. Only someone who doesn't attend worship regularly would ever consider public worship as non-essential. You can take that for what it's worth. According to our First Amendment rights in these here United States, discrimination against religious institutions and religious believers is prohibited. So we are open for business. We're going to be preaching the gospel. The First Amendment and federal statutory law prohibit
discrimination against religious institutions and believers. I'll cut right to the chase. The Constitution is not suspended in times of crisis. Not during the Civil War, not during the influenza outbreak 100 years ago, not during 9/11, and not now during COVID-19. And after a week's worth of discussion concerning whether or not houses of worship are essential with a genuine need to reopen, faith leaders from around the state were informed by the powers that be in Annapolis that no elected official can tell us that we cannot practice our faith. Take that, Mr. Oshevsky. I guess sometimes the obvious isn't so obvious to some folks. Or is it? Forgive me for being suspect, but I know the devil is still hard at work. I also know that churches have the truth, and because of that, we are a threat to those on the left. What we have just been through is nothing short of religious persecution, Pat, and any preacher true to his faith will tell you that, because Jesus said to know the truth would set you free, something the left does not want.
Well, you know, this is our greatest constitutional crisis in the history of the country, even with the Civil War, where the Constitution was not suspended. And I always look at things from an investigative point of view, and I say, who is benefiting the most? I mean, besides China and some other global trends, the radical left is benefiting the most. Not the constitutionalists, not the patriots, not the real what America is all about part of the equation. The other side is benefiting, and the longer we are locked up, locked down, they are benefiting. Now, I want to mention to you, Pastor, that we are doing our TV show this Tuesday over at the office, 2 o'clock. Is it possible you could make it?
I'll be there.
Yeah, okay.
This just came in, our announcements.
So, anyway, but Nicola, thank you for calling, Pastor.
Yes, sir. God bless you all.
God bless you. Wait a minute, Valerie has a comment.
One of the things that, from you being a former legislator, that we always used to enjoy was that every now and then churches would honor elected officials and public service employees like the police department, the fire department,
Right.
things like that. And every one Sunday out of the month, out of the year, we would all come together and, you know, we'd have a little banquet and something like that. I wonder if those churches are going to call on Johnny O this year. I mean, if I was the pastor of that church...
He was there every year.
He was there every year, but if I was the pastor of that church, I would not call on him.
Okay.
I agree.
Not even for bingo.
Well, we'll come back. We're going to talk to Nicola Ambrose about something. I'm Pat McDonough. We'll be right back.
Apologizing for your dog's behavior? Need help communicating? At Canine Concepts, we can solve your problems. The answer to your problems is a phone call away. Call 410-477-2000 for a free demo evaluation. Call 410-477-2000. Obedience, protection, handicapped assistance, boarding,
Okay.
grooming, puppy
Shut up.
preschool.
Shut up.
Visit Canine Concepts.
Support your local 333. They get this stuff done. They get this.
Call 410
They get done this stuff.
2000.
The stuff nobody else touches. God bless the truck drivers, but we give things to the truck drivers for them to move America. But it starts with the docks, the piers, and the shores of America, with the longshoremen. And Baltimore's local 333 does that for you. Support them, babe. Support them. You might have a party and stuff. Somebody might knock the toilet over and something. You know, it's, oh Christ, Jesus, look at this. Mom's coming home or whatever. You know, go to Vince's tile work. All right, like Vince Palmer. All right, Vince Palmer. He's the owner. He's the boss. So go talk to him, and you can see him on Facebook and see his work. He's always in the bathroom. You know, no, not bowel problems, but he's always in the bathroom working. You know, and he's a nice man. And you ask him, oh, can I have this color? He's going to say, yeah, it's going to be nice. And tell him Ron Savage sent you. He's also a union brother, a local 333 longshoreman. God bless him too. He tell him Ron Savage that he'll probably put a nice air freshener in the toilet for you, or something like that. You know, just do it. It's a lot of fun. All right, Vince Palmer, please. I hear you again because I got to get ready for the show. Vince Palmer, God bless him. All right.
Touching people inappropriately. You know, this goes on and on.
Mark Levin.
Some people you don't talk about. Other people you can talk about till you're blue in the face.
Don't miss the great one. Weeknights at 10 on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Welcome back, everybody, to Super Citizen Radio Network with Pat and Valerie McDonough and our two great guests.
What's that sound? I mean, someone's at the door.
Sophia
Let's go see.
Montgomery and
Betsy, go see if it's a car. I'm just joking.
And we're going to get to Nicolette in just a minute. But I want to remind everybody that, of course, this program is on every Saturday evening. We've been bringing in a lot of guests, great people, getting different opinions. And also our television show is on once a month, and it's on next Sunday. It's on next Sunday, which is the 24th of May. It's on at 10 a.m. prime time for public affairs, the only conservative television show in the entire world, but actually in the state of Maryland. And it's on for a half an hour, and it's a great show. Pastor Lewis comes on and gives his message. Sophia Montgomery has been on, and so has Nicolette Ambrose.
I have.
Yes, so we want you to support that program, and please tune in. It's on prime time. It's on Sinclair Broadcasting. It's on Comcast.
I ordered a pizza. You know, sometimes during the show, I order pizza.
It's on, what is that other channel? Verizon. It's on the Dish. It's on DirecTV. It's on
Channel 46.
It's on Russian TV. It's on Chinese network. It's everywhere.
You can't say Chinese.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Anyway, before we get to Nicolette, we're gonna talk with Sam, who is in Sparrows Point.
Yeah, Sam. Go ahead,
Sam, good evening.
Go ahead, Sam, baby.
Hey, Pat, how you doing? How you doing, Mr. Howard?
I'm doing fine, and you?
It's fine and wonderful at the same time.
Well, I only go by what Ron puts on the computer.
But I'll tell you one thing, I was
That's it.
ashamed when you lost. I wish you would have got it.
There's always tomorrow. Who said that?
That's Uncle House Mom.
You just did.
You just start singing
No.
musicals.
Who was that? It was in the movie, the great movie.
Not Annie?
When?
That's what I thought, Annie.
No. Tomorrow's another day.
Tomorrow's another.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
Go
go
with
with
the
that.
wind.
We're
Go
going
with
with
the
the wind. All right, Nan, go right ahead.
Hey, Pat, well, I was listening to the radio on Wednesday. Hogan said, go ahead, everybody can go back. And then somebody told me we can't go back to Johnny O. How did he get took care of? I thought Hogan was supposed to be one.
Well, the way that's set up, the law is, according to the governor, he wants
Nicholas
to leave it
Ania.
up to the officials to make the final decision.
Wolf,
as to how
comma,
far they
wolf.
go, based on his standards.
And that way it took the pressure off for Governor Hogan to open Maryland wide open.
Well,
I thought we were going to be open, but you know what? He wasn't as good as father wasn't either, Johnny O.
well, thank you very much. I'll see you later. Anyway, Nicolette, the lockdown, what do you feel about it?
Okay, here's my take on this. I'm going to give you a little background here. Back in the day, I worked for the Bush administration. I was at labor when we were all worried about SARS coming. And I got to do the pandemic planning for the U.S. Department of Labor.
Wow.
Okay? And we were worried SARS would be what, our new Chinese Communist Party virus is today, right? And we've known the same thing. Since 1918, the lesson of the Spanish flu was social distancing, right? Baltimore and Philadelphia back in the day, over 102 years ago, proceeded with parades, and thousands of extra people died.
Yeah,
right?
Philadelphia had a real bad experience with that.
Exactly, versus the other cities that said, we're going to cancel our parades, try to stay home with your
Play
family.
it safe, yeah.
Right. And so we know social distancing works, but here's the deal. Who nailed it? Sweden nailed it, right, with this experience. You need the best approach to these things is saying, here's what we know, here's what we don't know, and we're going to ask you to be courteous to one another, to stay home, to not do extra things for the meantime till we figure this out. But what works best, right, asking people to use their courtesy, rather than dictatorial fiats. What is going on right now with these deep leftist progressive county executives shutting down things is of incredible concern to me. What has been most disconcerting to me throughout this whole process is shutting down churches, shutting down our religious institutions.
I mean, that's messed up.
Because I'm sorry, if I can go in a grocery store with a mask, why can't I sit in a pew in a church 6 feet away from someone else?
That's
There's
right. That's
absolutely
right.
no
That's right.
reason
That's
that
right.
is as
That's right.
essential
That's right.
to me as
That's right.
buying food at a grocery store is. And I think what I've been really intrigued, and actually I have to tell you, my kids keep talking about this. What we're seeing is this incredible kind of class divide between the elites and the working class.
No question.
And you have elites who cannot figure out why people want to go back to work. You can't even explain to them that most people have to go to work to make money to buy food.
This is
they
an
don't
extension.
get it.
This is an extension of the divide in America, the left brain, right brain.
Because they're
thing.
stolen.
That's what this is all about. You're right. And you can look at the politicians. I mean, who are the politicians that want to keep the lockdown, extend the lockdown, put on the pressure, support oppression in America? Not the Republicans, it's the Democrats and the liberals. The more liberal they are, that's what they're supporting. So anyway, you continue with your story there.
So no, I mean exactly what you said. My concern is we cannot shut down people's ability to.
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Sauer speaking. Who's calling tonight?
I think the leftist media has presented a false narrative.
Oh, okay,
They've said
Wendy.
either pre-COVID world or
Okay,
total
where are you calling from,
separation.
Wendy?
I'm sorry, but we're Americans. We got brilliant
And what would
technology.
you like to talk
We are
about?
innovative. We can solve these challenges. You can go back to work with a mask on. Guess what? You don't have to say it's either pre-COVID or nothing.
Oh, the ballots.
You're allowed to figure out and use your brain and your intellect to solve this solution. Use PPE.
Okay,
and make
you got
sure
it.
You can get back to
You're
work
very
and do your
next.
job and make money.
Hold
and
on, Wendy.
support
We'll get you
your
there.
family.
And I think what's really scary
You're
is the
welcome.
fact that we're being allowed. That word, I'm not a subject, I'm a citizen, okay? I don't have to be allowed. The Constitution, Thomas Jefferson said, he who gives up freedom for safety gets none of them.
That's right.
And,
Bada bing,
30
bada boom.
million jobs,
Oh,
35 million jobs now have been
no,
lost
no.
in America. And the media treats this economic destruction as a sideshow. Like it
Had
really
a first
doesn't
freaking,
matter. And the elitists in this country, there is
cookout
a
yesterday on the roof.
combination. I mean,
Oh,
it's the Biden,
it was
Pelosi,
freaking great. It's like, here's the
leftists,
virus, people.
AOC,
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm having a good time. I'm
CNN,
drinking.
MSNBC.
I mean, I got a couple of my
They're all
guys. It's
there
freaking
all
great.
the time.
Oh,
On
you
the
guys
wrong
invited
side of
too.
the tracks, beating
Wrong every time.
up the deplorables.
It is unbelievable to me. I don't care how leftist, where you are on the political spectrum, that you cannot put yourself in someone else's shoes and understand that they need to go to work and be able to feed their family.
That's right.
I don't get it.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm far out on a limb on all of this. I said to Valerie one day, because Valerie's a great investigator. She gets into that computer and she finds everything. I said, I want you to look up the physicality of the brain and how it impacts philosophy and thinking, especially in politics. She came up with 15 universities that are studying this stuff. Now, this sounds crazy. I know right now people are saying, Pat, you're drinking.
We're witness he's not.
I'm telling you, you look it up, Google it yourself. I always say, Google it yourself. It's Duke University, it's UCLA, and they are saying that there is some substance to the thought that people who think on the left in many ways are different brain physicality than people who think on the right. One of the things they talk about is called the amygdala. We have an amygdala in our brain. It's smaller in people that are on the left. The other part about it is, I always get in trouble when I do this. We all have Neanderthal genes in our systems. They have more Neanderthal genes. So we can't totally blame them. I mean, basically, they don't understand what we're talking about. They don't see the world as we see it. As said, they live in an alternative universe.
Well, and then you have
Always a great show.
the leaders on the left whose goal are just these far leftist policies. Like they're trying, and we're going to be talking with Congressman Harris about this insane dead on arrival congressional package that, courtesy of Nancy Pelosi. But the point of this is, right, that we have the Democrats who said we have to take advantage of this crisis, and now we're trying to use this to push through universal basic income and all these other insane things that not only would destroy our country, but first of all, the reason we have so few deaths here in America versus the rest of the world is because we have this brilliant private healthcare system. We have R&D. We still have remnants of our system pre-Obamacare, and we can actually save people's lives even when they're in a horrible situation. So, please, everyone, just realize the Democrats are trying to exploit a public health crisis to put forward flat-out socialist goals.
That is something that people should really pay attention to if you want to have your children living in a country that is going to be free in the future. What kind of a politician puts out a bill like this so-called heroes bill? It's not a heroes bill. It is a bill that has marijuana promotion in it. It is a bill that gives money to illegal immigrants. It is a bill that, as you pointed out, is taking advantage of a terrible crisis. From the beginning, if you were a real person, you would have unified with the president instead of criticized him immediately. I mean, on day one, they expected him to have 330 million of those things that determine whether or not you have the virus. 350 million on the first day. Okay, and they've been hitting him on that all along because we're trying to build that up. But this president actually, amazingly, he said from the beginning, he knew what this crisis was. He said he was a wartime president. He was a Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That's
the
right.
Private sector has to build no more cars. Right. It has to build tanks.
That's right.
We have to build all these different pieces of equipment. But
hello, everybody.
He took and he unified the public institutes of health and the various organizations related to health and government.
Okay, I don't have county. I just have a little,
they're working
like a little drink of county I have every week. You see, I just have a little bit of a highball. I just a little highball.
I mean, he's watched too much Star Trek when he was younger. But he's got the Warp Speed program, 100 vaccines, and they're going to narrow it down to 15, and they're going to put all the power and resources and the exceptionalism of this nation into those 15. And then they were talking about hydrochloroquine.
Hydrochloroquine.
Yeah. So this guy who criticized him, who he fired from the government and testified to the Democrats in the House, he said that is a waste of time. It doesn't work. Well, it was reported this week that cocktailing it with some other, ingredients, some other meds, is really breaking down this virus and slowing it down. It's not a prevention, but it's actually working.
That's the report you're hearing from every doctor who's not trying to politicize this. And by the way, I read the Office of Special Counsel redacted report by that fine Dr. Bright, and who on earth is his lawyer? Dr. Deborah Katz of the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, representing Christine Blasey Ford. Ooh, sound a little political to you? And he is the same person who signed off on the order to purchase tons of hydroxy.
Yeah, and he's also the one that's complaining about we don't have enough.
Here, watch. You can see the guests. I do this once in a while.
Innovators.
Did you see? You think he's just talking to one person? He's a freaking nut. Yeah, but there are people out here.
Innovators. We are the innovators. Anyway, the ventilators, and now we have so many, we're thinking about shipping them out to other countries. But anyway, let's take a call from Wendy. Who lives in your neighborhood.
Sure, Wendy.
Very home.
Hey, yeah.
There she is. Where is she?
Yeah.
Wendy, good evening. You're on the air, Wendy. Speak up.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Hey, Wendy. How are you?
I'm too much fun. Too much fun. Take it easy. There we go, baby. Okay, get the film.
Yay!
Anyway, I'm not calling right now.
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Savage speaking, and who's calling tonight?
Listen to Andy Harrison in a bit, but here's why I'm
Is this
calling.
who? Hello?
As you probably well know, we
Hold on one second.
recently received primary...
WCBM, this is the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Savage speaking. Who's calling tonight, please?
And there was one thing that I just could not believe. After you complete,
Who?
the questions
No.
and answers,
No.
and you put that application back in
Whose number are you talking about?
postage paid envelope. On the outside of the envelope, if it's sealed, is your signature.
She's the guest?
For everybody in the world can see it. They can take a picture if they want to do a forgery.
Yes, I can get to it, but they're out there. I can't go through the glass and break my face off, Mr. Investigator.
Sophie.
Is this is Claude, right?
This is what I heard from
Is this
Larry
Claude?
a few days ago after the
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
District 7 election.
Well, would you like to
that
go in here and
20%
ask?
of the ballots in the city were not counted because the envelope was not signed. So you might think it's an insignificant.
Hey, would you like to go on there? Because I'm going to get a commercial.
You have to sign.
2 minutes.
You have to sign
You
that
go near what?
envelope, or that ballot will not be counted.
No? Okay,
Very
thanks.
important.
Well, but to you, that signature should be protected.
Should have been inside.
Private. It should be on
Not on the outside.
that envelope. Not outside.
So we got to deal with.
I think the reason they put it on the outside, they wanted to make it convenient and quick, so they could tell whether that was a legitimate ballot or not.
You have to remember that there's going to be people.
Woo!
Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate it.
Those ballots they're not going to, there's people actually reading these ballots. It's not going to be done until until the envelope is open, that they go and they put it through the machine.
Well, if it's not signed, they just discard it.
Well,
Right.
all this would be if you get your ballot, and I still don't have mine.
We just got ours. Yeah, we got ours
Yeah, a
2
lot of
days
people
ago.
did not get that.
I got mine.
20% did not get it. In the seventh. What was that? The
I'm
seventh
technically in the
district.
third, but no, I still don't have mine for June 2nd.
Well, see, what I didn't understand was I got mine one day and Pat got his the other day.
Really?
And the next day it was like, okay, here we go.
3,
I got 3 of them.
4.
I signed all of them.
You
no,
got
only
three.
kidding. Only kidding.
Just kidding. But anyway, we're going to talk about this later on because we want to talk about the mayor's race, and this has a huge impact on the mayor's race. It may make a decision about somebody who might have been the winner, who may not be the winner, and she has even said this publicly.
Take a break so I can take a cigarette break, please.
We'll talk about that. But when it gets back down to the lockdown, 35 million jobs have been lost. There's also an increase in mental health crisis hotline appeals.
Yes, it is.
People are being bothered. It's a mental issue. Also, prescription drugs for anti-anxiety are up by 30%.
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show, Ron
30%.
Savage speaking. And who's calling?
Hospitals are in financial troubles. Big businesses like
No,
Neiman
the lines are
Marcus
busy.
and
They
J.
knock
Crew
people off. I only
have
have like
gone
so many
under.
seconds
But
to
the
go
backbone
on.
of our
Because
economy, the
all
small
I'm supposed to do is, hey,
businesses
what's your name? What do you want to
are
talk about? And that's it.
failing in record numbers. 11 million jobs have been lost in small businesses just in April, just in the month of April. So the trade-off between lives and livelihoods.
You should go
is
online.
not
You should go
like
live,
you
man.
said,
You should tell
Nicolai,
me.
that's not the policy. Should be is how to accomplish both.
Well, no, I'll put
That's
you
the
live on the
idea.
microphone at the commercial.
We have to acknowledge what's going on.
All right, wait a
Yes,
minute, hold on. I'll put you
absolutely.
on this again.
But how
Now,
can
who's
we do
calling? Wait a
it
minute.
better and safer?
Well,
That's the
see, what's
question.
your name?
Not
That is.
shut down the world from
CJ.
here until the end of time.
And here's an example.
And where you
It's
calling from,
pretty
CJ?
much common sense. We can go to the big box store, but we can't go to the neighborhood store.
Exactly, and we're just driving all these small business owners out of business.
I know,
Whether they
man.
come
Fucking
back
that.
or
That's
not,
don't
small
get me
business
started.
creates
Don't get me
80%
started.
of the jobs
I had to
in
have a
America,
hooker almost
and
cut my neck off. No.
90%.
I'm
of
sorry.
the
What
US
would you
economy is
what you want to talk about again, CJ?
So this is all being hit hard.
Real quick, because the
Uh,
phone's gonna hang up.
You can go to a what do you call it, methadone center.
So
You can go to
I'll
a liquor
post for
store,
you the
but you can't go to a
closings.
church.
Closings when they're gonna open.
Criminals are being released, but small business owners are being arrested. I mean, this is crazy for America. It's hard to believe. All right, we're going to take another break. Andy has not joined us.
No.
Have you made? Did you make
Okay,
Andy
all
sign
right,
on
see
the
you
back?
then.
You call and go harassing.
Right now.
Go harassing. All right, we'll be right back after this.
Barry White, baby. Barry White.
Backdoor cold front will stick around into Sunday. We're seeing very little by way of rain opportunities. We're going to ramp that up a bit as we get into the work week. Stronger low pressure developing, and we will see the best shot at the rain coming Monday into Tuesday. Now for tonight, partly cloudy, mid to upper 50s. For our Sunday, clouds, a little cooler than where we were Saturday. We'll get up to around 70, maybe a straight shower. Straight to scattered showers ahead for Sunday night. Better chances for the rain and possible thunderstorms Monday. Jeff Eno for the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
If you're a professional working with homeowners 62 and older, you should learn more about the Federal Reverse Mortgage. This loan helps homeowners gain access to some of their home value without creating a monthly payment. The money can be used for any reason: home improvements, purchasing insurance, preventing portfolio spend downs, you name it. For more information, call Mark McVeary at Reverse Mortgage Answers, 410-788-7070, 410-788-7070, or visit us at rmanswers.com.
When your vehicle needs help, Jeff's Automotive Services is the place to go. Your vehicle will be worked on by Automotive Service ASE certified technicians. Jeff services all vehicles, including cars, SUVs, trucks, both medium and light duty, and there are always specials available at Jeff's Automotive Services. Just call 410-682-5700. Jeff's Automotive Services is locally owned and conveniently located in the heart of Essex at 313 Mace Avenue. Jeff's is the winner of the Best Automotive Service Award for 2019 by the Avenue Newspaper's Readers Poll. Jeff's offers 10% discounts to all seniors and active military members and would like to thank our military members for their service. Jeff's Automotive Services has a name you can trust. Remember, call 410-682-5700 for Jeff's Automotive Services.
Hello, this is Rick Davis, owner of the American Bullion Center in Timonium. I just want to remind my existing and future customers that the American Bullion Center will remain open during this health crisis. We will be following all national and local health protection procedures and policies. Please feel free to call 410-825-2334 for a private one-on-one appointment to discuss all of your gold and silver buying and selling needs. Thank you for your business and understanding during this health emergency.
We know that we're asking Americans to do a lot right now. So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible to this virus.
A question I often get asked is, why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
Social distancing is really physical separation of people.
It's what we refer to when we ask people to stay at least 6 feet apart.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, not going to theaters where there are a lot of people. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others who might actually be infected.
I'm back. I just gotta hurry. Take a draw. Just ash, boom, good. Goodbye. It's getting nice out. It's getting nice out. So what are you gonna do? I feel like getting a t-shirt. Where are you gonna go? Take it off. Go to Bluefish Apparel on Facebook. Visitors call Steve Bluford. He's the owner and operator. He's the boss. So go ahead and do that. He's a nice man. 443-278-4853. 443-278-4853. He's a longshoreman too. Local 333. I gotta get the phone. WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Savage speaking, and who's calling, please? Oh, Mr. Harris. Hold on, please. I'll put you on.
More than 35 million men, women, and children have hearing loss, and the number is growing. You need to begin your journey toward healthy hearing now by calling Clarity and Comfort Hearing Center at 410-256-1006. The center is located in Gary Hall. Begin your
Andy
journey
Harris one too.
to healthy hearing by calling Clarity and
I'll
Comfort
tune in.
Hearing Center at 410-256-1006. This message is sound advice.
I've got a snack that'll add a little kaboom to your keto diet. Or would that be keto boom? Either way, Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavor that outshines other low-carb snacks. And if keto's not your thing, you'll still love the high protein these rinds deliver. Flavors like Korean kimchi barbecue, honey chipotle, pineapple ancho chili, and more. Visit porkrinds.com to find your flavor boom.
Visit porkrinds.com today for your Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds.
While you can't believe everything on social media these days, you can believe it's possible to start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Instead of waiting to see what happens when life gets back to normal, take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Backdoor cold front will stick around into Sunday. We're seeing very little by way of rain opportunities. We're going to ramp that up a bit as we get into the work week. Stronger low pressure developing, and we will see the best shot at the rain coming Monday into Tuesday. Now for tonight, partly cloudy, mid to upper 50s. 4 hours Sunday, clouds, a little cooler than where we were Saturday. We'll get up to around 70, maybe a straight shower. Straight to scattered showers ahead for Sunday night. Better chances for the rain and possible thunderstorms Monday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
While you can't believe everything on social media these days, you can believe it's possible to start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Instead of waiting to see what happens when life gets back to normal, take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Pat McDonough Show is brought to you by Rally for America.
I have 3 women dancing.
We're your backup dancers.
Sing it, Pete Barry White.
Sing it, Barry. Yeah, I was going to just say that. Sing it, Barry.
That was Barry White, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Well, you know, Andy Harris. Harris has, according to the Baltimore Sun, Congressman Harris has hit a new low. He told an angry mob. Now, I had the leader of the angry mob here last week and said it was not an angry mob. That Larry Hogan's action is that of a desperate. They want it their way or the highway. They want to be us marching in lockstep like fascists. This is the Baltimore Sun. The opinion editors Tricia Bishop, Andrea McDaniels, and writer Peter Jensen. Now in Georgia, where they opened
CJ,
up
could you call back Andy Harris?
the Atlanta,
which is going to take a
like,
little time. Could
the
you call back a little
Baltimore
later?
Sun in Georgia. That state's version of the Sun
could you call back a little
paper
later?
said that
Mr.
Governor
Andy
Brian
Harris
Kemp
is on, and
opening up
he's gonna take a
Georgia
little
was
bit,
an
okay?
experiment in human sacrifice. Now, can you believe this stuff? And we have with us.
He
our
will. It's going to be all
Andy
brought up,
Harris.
and then after that you can call.
Andy, good
okay,
evening.
call again. Call right back after he's done.
And I want to caution you ahead of time. We have 3 Republican women here. We have Sophia Montgomery, a Baltimore County businesswoman, a member of the Women's Republican Club, who I think you know. And we have the newly, freshly minted and elected Republican National Woman.
Hello, Congressman Harris. It's Nicka Lee.
Nicka Lee. And we have Valerie McDonough.
Hello, Andy.
So now you're on the air, sir. And you're going. I told you about that cheap phone, Andy.
WCBM?
All right, Andy, listen, we lost you. It's probably our fault. But anyway, please call us back. We want to talk to you about the reopening and also that $3 trillion
Dead on arrival.
dead on arrival. Thank God for
Andy Harris
the
is on,
Senate
so-
and the great
Hello?
president. I mean, that
Andy,
is
again,
a
this goes
radical
Chris
left
in that show.
Christmas
Hold on,
tree.
please.
Pat, we have got to
Wait a minute,
talk
first of all-
about. Can you imagine? I mean, we talked about this at the beginning of the show, but you talked about what on earth if President Trump were not president in this crisis? I mean, I don't even think we'd recognize.
We'd be asking-
remember our Constitution right now.
We'd be asking China for help.
Oh my God.
Congressman, are you with us?
Hold on 1 second, sir.
Wait a minute, let me make sure. Congressman, are you with us now?
Yes.
Okay. First of all,
Difficulties are over.
that's all right. Don't worry about it. Listen, we only have 7 or 8 minutes left for the news. I'd like to keep you on past that a little bit if you can. But I know you wanted to talk about the
WCBM, Andy Harris is
reopening.
on. Could you call back later?
Oh yeah. Look, thank goodness that the governor opened up some things.
If you listen,
too
and
bad
Harris
that,
goes
you know,
up because
Johnny
we're
in Baltimore
Pat's on
County
10, and then you
decided
call
to
right back
Baltimore
after he's on.
County
I'll get you
closed,
right on.
even though some parts of Baltimore
Thank you
County,
so much.
I think could have reopened safely, and it's too bad that the governor didn't reopen.
Jesus
restaurants,
Christ!
Because a lot of our family-owned small business restaurants, you know, they have outdoor patios, they can serve outdoors, they can have social distancing. You know, I think we really should have reopened them also.
That would have been a big move right there.
Big move.
Yeah, I think, you know, as you know, Pat, restaurants, you know, it's a tough business. The margins are tight. I think that if this goes on any longer in Maryland, I think, you know, a third or a half of our family-owned restaurants are just going to go out of business.
I think
There's a lot of
one the problems,
multitasking
too,
here,
for women
folks.
is beauty salons.
Yeah, these
No,
women
I mean,
here, their hair's a
I'm-
mess.
I'm going to Hartford County, Andy.
The ladies are fired up, but I want the churches. Come on. You've
Well, the
got
churches,
to let
too.
people go to church and wear a mask and sit 6 feet apart. Come on. If I can go to a grocery store, I can go to church with a mask on.
I'm wondering how many churches are going to be destroyed by this because, you know, when it first came, when the pandemic first came on, or we first started with it, everybody was doing. It was around Easter time. All the churches were doing churches on the computer, on television, different things like that. How many people are going to go back to the same church, or did they like a different pastor from another church? I wonder how many people are going to decide to stay home from church.
Excuse me, ladies, we have a congressman on the
Well, Andy knows me.
I'm sorry, Andy.
Oh, yes, yeah.
No, that's okay. No, but really, I mean, it's true. You can go to a Home Depot, you can go to a Walmart, but packed parking lots on Sunday. I don't know why. You know, you can't go to church in Baltimore County or Baltimore City on a Sunday. You really should be able to. You know, it makes no sense at all. And, you know, thank goodness that the governor, at least, you know, on a statewide basis said yes to indoor church services. But it's too bad that a lot of the
again, a lot of the Democrat county executives have said that churches just aren't as important as Walmart on Sunday, I guess.
Yeah, elections have consequences, don't they?
They certainly do.
Because Barry Glassman is a Republican, and he's, I think, opened up Harford County. It's going to be a swarm of women going up there to the hair shops, I'm sure. And I know Valerie already set her date up. But anyway, Andy, you were really, and I know how this is, they are ferocious and vicious and so unfair to you, just like they are to the president. I mean, you're our great hope here in Maryland as an honest and true conservative. And this Baltimore Sun, I mean, they're pathetic. They really are.
Yeah, their editorial basically against me last week was one of the nastiest things they've ever written. It reminds me of when Ellen Sowerby first ran, what they did on the editorial per page to her.
Horrible.
The bottom line is they have gone way past any common sense. I mean, when the governor reopened on Wednesday, reopened some things, they bashed him on Thursday. I mean, I don't know what they're expecting.
Well, if they didn't have you to kick around, they'd bash him every day. They only praise him to make you look bad.
Well, like I say, they didn't praise him a lot on their editorial this week, and their editorial just made no sense whatsoever. They bring up, the issue of churches opening was brought up in the editorial, and nowhere in the editorial does it mention, oh, by the way, that's actually one of your First Amendment rights is to actually practice religion the way you choose to practice religion. They treat it as though it has nothing to do with one of your freedoms and liberties.
Well, I'll give you some good news, might make you feel good. The Baltimore Sun, for our listening audience, which will enjoy this, is now down to 50,000 issues during the week, and that's from 200,000.
Yeah, and look, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, like a lot of the newspapers, they're not newspapers; they're opinion papers. They put opinion on the front page. There is nothing objective about their reporting. I could give you example after example after example where there's just no objectivity. It's all editorial on the front page.
It's never ending. It's out of control. It's all over television. It is all over newspapers all across America. And it is a huge, I call it the media monster. Not only fake news, but it's destroying our future. It's destroying our nation as we know it. There you are, the hate America, blame America crowd, and they are part of the mob along with the Democrats and the radicals. Now, this week, a bill came out for heroes, and I'm sure you voted for it.
Oh, I don't think so, Pat. That bill, it was amazing. They actually had $1 million going to the National Science Foundation to study disinformation on coronavirus. I mean, it's astounding. What was in that bill was astounding. It didn't do what we needed to do, which was provide liability protection for our physicians and for our business folks who are opening back up. It didn't correct the unemployment insurance problem where we're paying half the people on unemployment are earning more on unemployment than when they were employed. And it didn't solve the Paycheck Protection Program, the threshold for making it a grant of having to use 75% of payroll instead of 50%. It didn't solve the problems we needed, but it spent $3 trillion.
Have these people no integrity, no honor, no ethics?
2 minutes.
No, not at all. This was all just messaging. They know we're 6 months away from an election, and this was all just election messaging. It was a complete and utter waste of time. The bill even required all mail-in ballots from now on, and of course that's the most fraudulent type of voting you can have.
Well, they are suppressing the black vote.
Right, but what they did in California in order to try to win that congressional seat, which they lost in the special election, they actually opened up in-person voting places in Democrat areas.
Oh yeah, well that's what Kwesi and Fumi did in the 7th district election. There are no personal open places in any of the congressional districts. I don't think even in your district. Well, they may wind up doing it real quick, but Fume requested it in the 7th district, and he got it.
Yeah, there will be. They will have at least one per county.
Oh, okay, good.
And Pat, they have to because I'm telling you, people are not everyone are getting their ballot.
1 minute.
No. You know what? One of my daughters, she didn't get a ballot. We have no idea why she didn't get a ballot. Everyone else.
Nicolene hasn't gotten her ballot.
Yeah, so who knows what's going on? So they're going to have someplace where, you know, you're going to wait until Election Day. You know how inefficient the election boards are. And if you don't get it by Election Day, you're going to have to show up somewhere to vote. Otherwise, they're just disenfranchised.
Well, Congressman, appreciate you staying with us. We're going to have to take a break for the unstoppable news. And we'll be right back and we'll talk some more, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, so we are going to have to take a break. This is Super Citizen Radio Network with Valerie and Pat McDonough, Sophia Montgomery, and the newly, I already said that, and our good friend Nicolette Ambrose. We'll be right back.
Stay connected with stimulating talk and breaking news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM, Baltimore, and WCBM.com.
Draining the swamp. Fox News, I'm Mary Corsetti. As President Trump calls it, the president has fired the State Department's Inspector General Steve Linick, an Obama administration appointee who has served in the State Department since 2013. The White House says Trump removed Linick at the recommendation of Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. In a letter to Congress, President Trump said Linick no longer has full confidence. Democrats on the House
wait, Bob, we got the next show too, right?
Firing, suggesting that this may be an illegal act of retaliation.
The professor, yeah.
It was said to be under investigation by Linick. Lawmakers requested that administration officials preserve all records related to the firing
and you and I both. That's the way things are.
By Friday, May 22nd. This says the new $3 trillion coronavirus relief bill approved by the House Friday night. Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger expressing strong disappointment to Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
We've done 4 or 5 coronavirus-related bills that were all bipartisan. You know, we can go debate them and all that kind of stuff, but when it's all done,
I'm going to write this down. He's 83 years old.
This is November focused.
The bill was voted approved with 14 Democrats voting no and 1 Republican voting yes. Meanwhile, states continue to cautiously ease restrictions on eateries, shops, and outdoor venues without triggering a surge in new coronavirus infections. Restaurants can now reopen in New Orleans, but must take reservations and limit the number of diners. And auto and horse racing tracks in New York can reopen without spectators. Public health experts warn that the pandemic could pick up again if precautions are not taken. In Phoenix, the pandemic is bringing back a blast from the past. The milkman, Dan Cezanne dairy owner Kevin Dan Cezanne, says over 1,500 people signed up online for home delivery.
Some people just have to stay home, period. So going to the grocery store is kind of a risky thing, and this takes that away from it. It's going to be completely non-touch. You put the cooler out, we put the food in the cooler, and then you're ready to go.
America is listening to Fox News.
It's a very confusing and stressful time right now, especially for our wounded and ill veterans and their caregivers. Practice social distancing, wash your hands frequently, and stay at home to avoid exposure. If you don't have symptoms or have questions, use secure messaging through My Healthy Vet or the VA telehealth service. If you develop symptoms, please call your local VA facility. We will get through this. For more details, visit va.gov/coronavirus. From the Fox News Podcasts Network, The Campaign with Brett Baer.
Eventually, we're going to get to a point where different places, and it's not flip the switch, but as far as the campaign, how does it look?
Trump stepped forward basically to say, I own this, and I have authority with this. I'm not sure how smart that was politically, strategically. It would have been probably better, I think, for him to put himself on the side of the working folks who are stuck at home, who are desperate to go back to work.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com.
Well, the CDC is reporting that over 100,000 Americans could die from COVID-19 by June. Fox's Aisha Hasney with more from New York City.
Those grim details coming from the director of the CDC, Dr. Robert Redfield, tweeting that 12 different forecasting models forecast an increase in deaths in the coming weeks. The Northeast continues to lead the nation in those deaths. New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts account for nearly half of all COVID-19 deaths across the country. Despite that, New Jersey reopening several popular beaches on Friday under new social distancing guidelines. New York plans to reopen all of its state-run beaches Memorial Day weekend, while New York City's public beaches will remain closed.
This has questions still pouring in on how sports will resume. Fox's Ryan Mayer with the details on a proposal to pick up baseball season amid the coronavirus pandemic.
Major League Baseball reportedly sent a 67-page proposal to players Friday night detailing medical protocols the league would like to take in resuming its season. According to multiple reports, the proposal includes conditions for regular testing of players, managers, coaches, and umpires, plus a limited number of other essential staff that would see the league processing over 10,000 coronavirus tests each week. The document covers testing, travel, in-game stadium adjustments, and on-field changes, along with a variety of other issues. One notable proposed protocol would reportedly see any staff and players not participating in the game sit in the stadium, separated by 6 feet.
Like, now you're really going to be my best
NASCAR
friend.
returning to competition in Darlington, South Carolina tomorrow. NASCAR driver Eric Amarillo discussing how the fans' absence from the event will impact the racers.
There's nothing like the real thing. And so
nothing like the real thing, baby. Nothing like the real thing.
Get back in the race car.
The event starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. I'm Mary Corsetti, and this is Fox
News. Stay to the weather.
Back to our cold front. We'll stick around into Sunday. We're seeing very little by way of rain opportunities. We're going to ramp that up a bit as we get into the work week. Stronger low pressure developing, and we will see the best shot at the rain coming Monday into Tuesday. Now for tonight, partly cloudy, mid to upper 50s. 4-hour Sunday, clouds, a little cooler than where we were Saturday. We'll get up to around 70, maybe a straight shower. Straight to scattered showers ahead for Sunday night. Better chances for rain and possible thunderstorms Monday. Jeff Eno for the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Has the insanity of the world got you down?
Go to Super Citizen. You want to be a Super Citizen? Okay. The show's on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. See that? Super Citizen, Pat McDonough on My TV, on Comcast at Channel 24, and on Verizon it's Channel 48.
Restoration of Baltimore is offering a free
No, 46. Go ahead, check them out. Great show, great information. Super Citizen with Pat McDonough on My TV.
helping to reduce the spread of the coronavirus.
And you want to be a super citizen? You can be a super citizen all you want to. And I'll tell you what, everybody's asking, how can I be a super citizen, Jesus? Well, here you go. SuperCitizenUSA.com, that's how you get to it. And also, if you want to join, you dial 410-238-0025. That's 410-238-0025. Join for Super Citizen. Super Citizen. I want to go to Pat's email. Hey, how can I get Pat? Well, guess what? Here's Pat's email. I got the inside scoop, guys. Pat's email is right there. Pat McD at Comcast.net. That's Pat McDonough, Maryland, right? MD. That's right, Pat McDonough. Right in Maryland, you can get him. Pat McD. That's you can email him. Any questions you want. There it is. Pat's email. Okay. Now, those people who say, "No, screw the computer. I do snail mail." I got snail mail too for Pat. And here you go. Pat's email is Pat McDonough, P.O. Box 15470, Baltimore, Maryland 21220. That's Pat McDonough at P.O. Box 15470, Baltimore, Maryland 21220. Bada bing.
But they should be.
The Pat McDonough Show is brought to you by Rally for America. Now more of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Our special guest is Congressman Andy Harris, along with our guests in the studio, Sophia Montgomery, a businesswoman from Baltimore County and a member of, what is the name of that subversive organization?
Republican Women of Baltimore County.
Woohoo! One of our best women's groups.
Yes,
Whole
very
state.
active,
Amazing.
great group.
Yeah, growing, really. Valerie's a member, too. She's a member.
I am too.
Yeah.
They're my home.
And also we have, of course, Nicolee Ambrose with us, our National Committee woman, endorsed by the President. And we have Valerie McDonough, who once physically manhandled the President at the Boulevard Diner.
Yes, and I do have the pictures to prove it. I just don't show them.
Well, anyway, he survived, Valerie McDonough. So he can survive anything. Yeah. All right, Andy Harris is with us. Andy, I mean, everything is happening in Washington, and you are the man.
Well, not a lot's happening anymore in Washington. You know, we went in for that one day, passed that bill out of the House. It's going to go over to the Senate and die. Hopefully the Senate will, keep on approving judges, because that's really important.
How are they doing? What's the latest?
Well, they're continuing to hold hearings on the judges. As you know, Mr. McDonough did call the Senate back into session this past week, even though Nancy Pelosi doesn't want the House to be in Washington, because she wants to do all the business behind closed doors in a smoke-filled room somewhere to exclude all the Republicans.
When I was younger, we used to call somebody like that a squirrel. She is a squirrel.
Before we passed the $3 trillion bill, the Democrats pushed the bill through that basically would allow voting by proxy. Any member can hold the proxy of up to 10 other members. So technically, 22 members in the House, and get a load of this, Pat, they said that you can actually have a proxy to vote present in a quorum call, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Quorum call is who's there. But you can actually give someone a proxy to vote for you, vote that you're present in a quorum call.
This woman's unbelievable. And that phone, and now here's what's really sad. I calculated this the other day in my own brain. We lost the House of Representatives because of that stupid Mueller investigation, which we now know was a total hoax and lie, like the president said, but they were successful in one sense in that they got the Congress and the House to go Democrat.
That's right. I mean, the Democrats will try. They will do anything to maintain power or to get power. They will do anything. They'll spend any amount of money. They'll lie, cheat, and steal to do it. And that was an example. The Mueller investigation, which we're going to find out when Mr. Durham, I think, releases his report. We're going to find out that all these investigations were phony.
Oh my God, I want to see Comey and all of them in orange.
Oh, Brennan, I tell you, is the worst. That guy's just totally crooked, and it's going to come out.
And these people were protecting us for 8 years. We were in their hands, relying upon them. It is totally unbelievable. And this president, if they can take a guy that's a 30-year veteran and a 3-star general and illegally attack him, and now we have this judge, this goofy judge. They do not, Andy, you know this, they don't believe in the rule of law. These lefties do not believe in the rule of law.
They make it up as they go along. This judge, I mean, it's unbelievable. If you read, lawyers who actually know what's going on, they will say in a courtroom, if the prosecution and the defense agree there is no case, then there is no case. I mean, it's not like the judge can say, well, yeah, I'm telling you there is a case, because if the prosecution says we're not going to prosecute, where's the case?
Well, you know who else said that? Ruth Bader Ginsburg. 9-0, Supreme Court did a ruling on that from the Ninth Circuit Court. They already did that. Now, why the president or somebody, maybe Barr, has to take this judge on the Cannons case to the D.C. commission on that? Because the guy who was the head of the chief judge of the D.C. judiciary, who was appointed by Obama, also said you can't do this. He said you can't have a third party interfere in the decision related to the judiciary. And this judge wants to bring in a retired judge and CNN to come in and decide whether or not it's fair to release an innocent man. Is it right to release an innocent man? Is that acceptable?
So what we're going to do, Pat, I mean, the House Freedom Caucus is thinking of actually filing an impeachment motion against that federal
judge. There you go. Beautiful.
Nice.
That's really what you have to do. When you do something that unbelievably illegal, then, we should. So if we ever get back, if Nancy Pelosi ever calls us back into session, we likely will file an impeachment motion.
Well, you should. I mean, who's on your side? Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the chief judge of the D.C. courts. That's who's, that's on the side of Andy Harris.
And all kinds of legal experts have looked at this. This is, and to the average person, I mean, if you think about it for a second, again, if the prosecutor says we're not going to prosecute this case, I don't get it. I don't get why.
Well, it's unconstitutional because prosecution is an executive function. Judicial is a judicial function. You can't be a judicial function and prosecute. It's an executive function. That's what Ruth Bader Ginsburg said. And the chief judge of the D.C. court said you can't bring third parties in. They had a case, I'm not sure where it was, but it was about immigration. And the judge at the federal level said, I'm going to make the decision based on what other people tell me. They didn't even file amicus briefs. They just came in and they testified in front of this judge. And he made his decision based on their commentaries, their attitudes, their opinions, and he found in favor of the illegal immigrants. And the chief judge of the court in D.C., who was actually an Indian American, said, and appointed by Obama, said you can't do that.
Yeah, no, look, the judiciary is running wild.
Nine gods, Nicholas, nine gods.
District judges issuing statewide injunctions against Trump's
That's amazing.
orders. I mean, really, it's just a judiciary gone wild. Thank goodness that the president is putting real judges in, and that that we still control the Senate. And thanks to thanks to Harry Reid, who changed the rules, the threshold for agreeing to judges. We have a lot of conservative judges now.
It's wonderful. I'll tell you, when this president gets elected to a second term, I think I think it's like 900 or 1,000 federal judges, and he's appointed about 300.
Yeah, and even the Ninth Circuit in California is now, very soon, is going to be actually a Republican circuit.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, which is, we never thought would happen in our lifetime.
Never see that.
I think it's in the apocalypse. That is really, I never thought I'd ever see that. But Andy, you're doing a great job. You really are. I mean, you are showing your true stripes in a time of crisis. You're coming up on the right side. You don't care about politics. You don't care about what the Baltimore Sun says about you. You're doing what you think is the right thing, and I'm telling you. I don't know if you're going to run for higher office or something, but you're doing a great job as a congressman. I got to tell you, we're very happy and very, I guess you could say, we're very in a good way to have you with us. But the Baltimore Sun, in their stupid, terrible editorial, they had the nerve to not only criticize the congressman, but to promote his Republican opponent. And people,
yeah, well, they did, Pat, but they couldn't actually come out and endorse him because, he is a Republican. So,
yes.
But, look, the fact of the matter is, the Sun in that editorial, they referred to the people who were protesting to reopen government as flat earthers. They were calling them racists. I mean, just the ugliest terms, Again, reasonable people can agree to disagree, but obviously if you disagree with the Sun papers, and oh my gosh, especially if you disagree with Dan Roderick, who is a communist sympathizer.
Well, he is, but worse than that, he's an idiot.
Well,
I mean, Dan is an idiot. I've been on shows with Dan. I've actually talked with Dan. I get myself in a lot of trouble. I talk about left brain, right brain. Well, Dan is no brain. There's nothing there.
Look, he's just a socialist, and again, if God forbid you disagree with him, there's no reasonable argument. It's just all vitriol. And again, the editorial page of the Sun has taken a turn in the last 2 years that is just unbelievable. And no wonder nobody reads it anymore.
50,000, yeah, 50 down to 50,000.
And I'll bet many of those are, in what I'll call institutional subscriptions. For instance, and you know what it is, businesses just get it to put it on the table, but nobody reads it, because who's going to pick up the Baltimore Sun to read it?
And I'll tell you the other thing, Andy, people may not realize this, but, there are a lot of sports people in this city. People love sports. They love football. They love the Orioles. And the only reason they get the Sun is for the sports column.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. There are a lot of people who I think throw away the first section and just pick up.
They don't even read it. They don't even read it. But anyway, so you do have a Republican opponent. I don't know who he is, but anyway, I mean, he can't do a better job than you. I said the same thing about Nicolene Ambrose. She had a challenger. I said, why would she have a challenger? Nobody that I can ever remember that had that job ever did a better job than her. Why would you challenge her?
Well, look, it's America. I mean, I don't begrudge anyone challenging, but you have to make the case that the person you're running against isn't doing the job that they were elected to do. And I guess Nickley, your margin was 2-1 today. Look, the fact of the matter is that the people who knew best decided that they weren't going to fire Nickley, and I think in 2 weeks they're going to decide they're not going to fire me either.
Congressman Harris, I just have to thank you for fighting for us. You are, as we all know, our lone Republican congressman for the state, and we could not ask for a better freedom fighter than you. And you are just a proud member of the Freedom Caucus that is always doing the right thing in Congress. And I cannot thank you enough for just representing us so beautifully in everything you do for us. Thank you.
Well, no, thanks for the kind words. A lot of us in the Freedom Caucus, we're not there because we want to necessarily, hold political office. We're there because we believe in the freedom and liberty that Americans deserve, that we're our God-given right, and we understand that government, at almost each and every turn, continues to attempt to take away those freedoms and liberties. I think we're seeing it written in spades in this coronavirus crisis, where we are having our liberties taken away with what I would say is marginal justification, and we're seeing that as we look to reopen parts of the country. We're seeing just how resistant people in power are to keep on maintaining that power, even when there is very credible, reasonable scientific evidence that we can safely reopen things. There's just this tendency to just exert power, and this is what our founding fathers realized. This is why they wrote the Constitution the way they did. This is why they entrusted the American people to make these decisions, and not necessarily their rulers. And I use that term. I carefully chose that word because in some instances people are acting as rulers, not as elected officials.
Well, you are. Remember, you're a congressman, and that's a great honor, but you're living in the belly of the beast. And in Maryland, maybe 10 years from now, we'll all be forced to wear masks if there isn't even a virus. But I get the same thing. I share with you my thoughts in the legislature, and you were in the legislature. In fact, you were my senator. But I always felt I was like General Custer at the Little Bighorn, outnumbered. Of course, we controlled the House of Representatives, and I think we're going to do it again. I really do. The American people, Andy, have got to have enough common sense and enough intuition and enough, my God, in their bloodstream to know that these people are radical, hate America nutcases, and that this media is so dangerous. It's so terribly dangerous. I mean, you hear even Hannity and you hear other people who have other power who say they are fearful of the power of this media, misleading, lying to the people with this fake news.
They're terrifying people.
Pat, so for instance, the fact of the matter is that you can't fool the American people, and when I would go, and I started about 2.5 weeks ago, going to the parts of my district, more rural parts of my district, where people looked around and said, wait a minute, nobody here is we're not New York City. We know some people in the community who got sick. A lot of them, are in nursing homes. But the average person is not getting really sick from this. But you closed down the average person's business. You took away the average person's livelihood. You made sure the average person couldn't go to church on Sunday. Yeah. And the common sense in them said, you know what? I think I can take care of myself. Yeah, I'll wear a mask.
I ain't the best Catholic, but I try.
Let me go and enjoy my liberties and freedom. And I think that's what, when we get to November, if liberals continue to do what they're doing now, which is to keep society shut down, to control society, I think there will be a huge pushback against that in November.
Well, let's hope so.
Americans are liberty and freedom loving.
I think so. I hope those instincts come to the surface and we have another miracle like the divine intervention that created this great precedent. I hope so. All right, Andy, we got to take a break. I want to thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you very much. You also stay well.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to take up 4 Republican conservatives. We'll take a look at the mayor's race on the Democrat side. Also, I don't know who's running the Republicans. I'm sure you probably do. and you might want to offer some comments, Nicolai, about that. And we're going to talk about some interest. There is a church tomorrow that is opening up. No, not going to do that? Okay. But it is also a special day created by President Harry Truman. And our good friend SOPHIA was there at the Oval Office when he signed the edict. Tell us about it. We'll be right back.
Okay.
When your vehicle needs help, Jeff's Automotive Services is the place to go. Your vehicle will be worked on by Automotive Service ASE certified technicians. Jeff services all vehicles, including cars, SUVs, trucks, both medium and light duty. And there are always specials available.
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Sapp speaking. Who's calling tonight, please?
410-682-5700.
Yes, he is, and your lines are open for you, sir.
And conveniently located in the heart of that 682.
Yes, you can. I'm going to put you on number one because you try to get them before I remember this. Is this CJ?
2019.
Okay, CJ.
Avenue newspaper from Old. Jeff's offers 10% discount.
Dundalk.
All seniors and active military
And you
members.
want to talk about what they kind of touched base on was opening
Jeff's
businesses.
Services has a name you can trust.
Okay.
Remember, call 410.
Okay, you will be caller number one after the commercial, so you have more free air. Go on, CJ.
Allow me to offer some sound advice. More than 35 million men, women, and children have hearing loss, and the number is growing. You need to begin your journey toward healthy hearing now by calling Clarity and Comfort Hearing Center at 410-256-1006. The center is located in Erie Hall. Begin your journey to healthy hearing by calling Clarity and Comfort Hearing Center at 410-256-1006. This message is sound advice.
I've always wanted to learn another language, but every time I try, it never sticks. So I decided to give Babbel a try, and I really
That's the Sphinx. She becomes the Sphinx.
and it starts with simple words and phrases, and soon you're putting those words into a conversation. Each lesson takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and they're all really different, which keeps things interesting. The app is really smart. It actually keeps track of the words I'm struggling with, so I can practice them and get better. I choose Babbel because it was created by real language teachers.
Oh, that's what she loves. Oh my gosh, she goes. Yes, she's a little. So sit and everything. She'll give you her paw and all. Oh man, she did all at once. She's a Ninja Turtle, I'm telling you. She loves pizza.
With Babbel, get conversational in Spanish,
That's my little
French,
baby. That's my
German,
little
and
girl.
more. It just takes 10 to 15 minutes a day. Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com or download the Babbel app and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
If you text while driving, you're on your way to becoming a statistic. People who text and drive are more likely to cause an accident. Please pull over out of traffic and stop so your life doesn't. A message from The Garden Show and host Alan Summers. Listen each Saturday from 7 to 8 a.m. for Maryland's premier garden show on the radio. That's Saturdays at 7 a.m. exclusively on Talk Radio 680 WCBM. And now more of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Welcome back, everybody. And Sophia Montgomery, you have a little bit of an announcement for us. A lot of people probably don't know about.
Well, just wanted to give a shout out to the veterans and active duty military. The third Saturday in May, as of 1949 through President Truman, is Armed Forces Day. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I want to also mention Brooks Robinson is 83 years old. Great third baseman, and he's been married for 60 years. And I saw his first game. One of my big brothers took me out to Memorial Stadium, and there was a guy, I think his name was George Kell. He was our regular third baseman. I'm pretty sure that was him. He was an older guy at the end of his career, and he was also pretty good. So anyway, the game starts, and there's this guy, number 5, on the field, Brooks Robinson. And I said to my brother, I said, who's this guy? I said, I have no idea. I don't know. Because they didn't make any big announcement. They announced him in the lineup. They didn't say it was a rookie from Arkansas and all this kind of stuff, you know. But during the course of the ball game, he caught a couple of balls, which he was famous for, his defense. You know, I mean, when we played the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series, he made so many spectacular plays on national television. The manager of the Cincinnati Reds said, this guy looks like he came down from a higher league. So that day he made a couple of great plays, and I said to my brother, I said, this guy, I don't know if he can hit or not. I think he got a hit. But I said, my God, I've never seen anything like that before. So our friend Bob sent us that information about the great Brooks Robinson, who we're happy to say is still with us at kicking. And I want to talk a little bit before we get into the mayor's race, until the Republicans voice their opinion on the mayor's race. I want to talk, Nicolai, about Valerie, are you going to stay with us for a little while? Yeah. Wait, be seated. Thanks for joining.
You're welcome.
Look, Trump has been criticized right from the beginning. It's like they expected him, when this unexpected thing comes upon us, they expected him to be ready with 330 million test kits. And they're still criticizing him about the test kits. But here is a guy that united the government's health agencies, which Nicolai's familiar with the private sector. He declared right from the beginning, he recognized we are at war. This is a war, and I'm going to be like the great liberal Democrat Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who stopped Ford from making trucks and made Ford make tanks. We're going to start making different things. He has this warp speed development so-called program where they've got 100 different vaccines out there percolating, and they're going to find the ones that have the best. He's not accepting. They say, well, Trump exaggerates because he's an optimist. He wants to believe in the future, and he believes we can get these vaccines on board helping people sooner than Fauci says, okay? So Fauci's not a god. I mean, he's not right on everything. He's been wrong for things in the past. But also, the president has decided to provide regular information almost every day. Now, some people are getting bored with it or whatever, but he's there. He's answering the questions every day. He closed down China in January, the flights from China. The Chinese sent out 400,000 people to America on flights, and they did not allow any flights in China.
Exactly.
That's certainly questionable. And he has insisted on the truth from China. Do you think Joe Biden, who thinks China is wonderful and whose son got $1 billion from them, do you think he's going to question China?
Well, it was on January 30th that President Trump shut down travel with China, right? And it was in that same day in a rally, I think it was in Iowa, that Joe Biden strongly criticized and excoriated President Trump for how dare he. I mean,
I hope we have that on tape.
Xenophobic. Oh, we do. How terrible, what a horrible leader he is for shutting down trade. And then not a month later, you have Nancy and Joe going after President Trump for not doing a good enough job handling the crisis. I mean, pick a story, folks.
Yeah.
This is absolutely absurd. Thank God
Idiota,
President
schmatters
Trump
on say,
and said, this is not. and looked into the details. Why on earth would the Chinese Communist Party leadership shut down travel out of Wuhan within China, but then keep pumping flights out of Wuhan?
That's
Why
right.
on earth
That's
would
right.
they
And
have...
throw the press out.
Thank you. Exactly. All of that happened at the same time. You know, my question used to be, obviously this is a manufactured virus, right? I mean, clearly it is. They have this...
Or manipulated at best.
Clearly, they have this lab in Wuhan that has continued to fail safety precautions and basic standards. So my question was, okay, was it intentional or not? But I have to tell you, the case does not look good for China. When you look at how they shut down travel within China that kept pumping out international flights, when you look
And would not
at...
share any information.
Exactly. They kicked the press out. They were unhappy about the Hong Kong protesters. They were unhappy about the trade deal with the U.S.
And controlled the World Health Organization.
Remember Hong Kong?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the money.
Does
they
anybody
poured
remember
into
Hong
the
Kong Fooey? I just
WHO.
remember that.
The case does not look good for them.
Well, it doesn't, and he is keeping the pressure up, and he's staying on top of them, and he said the other day, we've got to understand we're living in a new era as far as China is concerned. During the Obama administration, according to Zogby, the poll, 60% of the American people believed that China was an associate of ours, they were okay, and we engage with them and we trade with them.
Yeah.
Since Trump has become president and educated the American people on who they really are, now it's 60 to 70% are fearful and opposed and don't trust China. So he did a great tribute to the American people. He gave us a gift that he educated us and told us these are bad people and we're going to live in a different world. And with the World Health Organization...
Well, and let's be clear. It's the Communist Party leadership.
Yeah.
They have not a care in the world for the lives of any of their citizens. I mean, this was, whether it was an experiment or what have you, they could care less. There is no way we can trust the numbers they have released for a second. And I have to compliment someone right here. Even before President Trump, there was one country who got what China was doing, and it was the Brits. Even their media, every time you would hear them report, they would say, the Red Chinese. They got it. They got the threat of communism. They didn't cover it up like our media did for decades.
Yeah.
And thank God for President Trump once again.
And our presidents, including Bush, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can debate that a little bit, but they are a clear communist threat. Their goal has never been a pleasant one. Let's be real.
No, and they are very dangerous. They're very clever. They're really brilliant.
Yeah.
They're our most dangerous threat in the history of this nation, if you want to take a look at how dangerous they really are to our future. And, you know, they have 1.4 billion people, and they have 20 million members of the Communist
surprised
Party,
we didn't get a...
and 10,000 people who run the country.
Surprised we didn't get a...
10,000 people are divided
visit
into
from
two
Vegas.
groups. One, they're called the Princelings, and they are the ones who are from President Deng, or Chairman Deng, when Nixon was president, and they wanted to move forward on a more open society and that sort of thing. And we actually believe that might be a reality someday. The other group are with Xi, and they are the militarists who are building up the military and using all their money. It's called fusion politics. Everything in China, whether it's private business, technology, health, it's all fused with the military. They work together. The Wuhan plant, the Wuhan Research Center, comes under the Communist Party military department that is engaged in biological warfare research.
And I'd like to recommend, has anyone read the public stories, and there are more than the public ones, for example, a gentleman flying over from China in 2018, you look it up, Yahoo News, bringing in vials of SARS and MERS and mislabeled vials. Thank God we had a brilliant CBP officer catch him at the airport, and they actually investigated what was actually in those containers. We have been trying this, and we have some of this on the record. There's more that's off the record of what they have been doing. You can't, I'm sorry, when you add up all these coincidences, is it really a coincidence?
No, it's not. And there needs to be a new world order. And what I mean by the new world order, I mean the World Health Organization, for example. We spend $400 million in there. The president says we're pulling that. He wants to create a new World Health Organization that's with the democracies, with the freedom lover companies. He wants to start to desist from the UN, not get out, but decline from the UN and start putting out international organizations that are friendly to Australia, to New Zealand, to Britain, to South Korea, to other major nations. He wants to get China out. We put China in the World Trade Organization and the G20.
Communist nations demonstrably do not value human life. There's no concept of human rights or civil liberties. How can you have a country like that advocate for individual life in these organizations? So I absolutely agree. You have to have this concept of belief in the individual potential and basic human rights to advocate for individual health.
Well, Sophia and I were saying when the two blondes were out traversing down the hall that the tragedy will be immense beyond calculation if this president is not reelected. Our whole way of life, and we're experiencing a new way of life right now, and we are being, I think it's being laid out for us in such a clear way, almost miraculous, that the people of the left, the mask wearers, the lockdowners, those who want to oppress and ignore the Constitution and the rule of law, they're coming out like Dracula out of the fog. They're becoming discernible figures. And if the American people don't pick up on this with this election, like Sophie said, if Biden wins, we're toast.
Well, and what you've seen, right, what we've gotten used to is the left had mastered the art of incrementalism, right? And now with our COVID crisis, you're seeing them try to, in one fell swoop, achieve every single goal of eroding all of our civil liberties with the excuse of this virus. And once again, I understand you have to take precautions till we, figure out a cure or figure out a plan. But those are precautions. That does not mean you shut down your entire society. Right. Two totally different things.
There was a president named Bill Clinton when he was running for election. His bumper sticker was, "It's the economy, stupid." And once again, that bumper sticker means something, and I'll tell you why. On the radical left, those two Harvard professors, I always mispronounce their names, Coven and I forgot, the Jim Simpson talks about them all the time. But they are very famous on the left, and their theory was overload and kill the system. And what is happening?
Yep.
Our constitutional republic and our system and our culture and our society is being overloaded.
But I think the good news about this is it shows the American people what the aims of the left have been all along.
It should.
So hopefully, and you're seeing this, I mean, let's translate it into 2020 for real stuff. You see these numbers. I mean, on the question of who do you trust to handle the economy, it was 54 President Trump, 42 Joe Biden. Those numbers, when you have 30 million people unemployed, I mean, that's a game over election scenario. Even CNN in their latest polling showed Trump winning every single swing state. So right now it looks very good. What we've learned, if nothing else through all of this, is how much every single one of our voices matter, how important our vote is. That is why you have the left trying to play all these games with mail-in ballots and everything else. And that is why, thank God, we still have control of the Senate. We have people like Andy Harris in Congress to fight it in the House. And we just cannot let the pressure up.
And your name is what?
I am your National Committee woman. It's an honor to serve.
Anyway, look, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a city that has the slogan, "You can't fix stupid." And we're going to see what kind of predictions we'll have, our thoughts and opinions on the election.
Stick around into Sunday. We're seeing very
stuff.
little
Donna
by way of
Summer. I
rain
love Donna
opportunities.
Summer.
We're going to ramp that up a bit as we get into the work week. Stronger low pressure developing, and we will see the best shot at the rain coming Monday into Tuesday. Now for tonight, partly cloudy, mid to upper 50s. For our Sunday, clouds, a little cooler than where we were Saturday. We'll get up to around 70, maybe a stray shower. Stray to scattered showers ahead for Sunday night. Better chances for the rain and possible thunderstorms Monday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Are you always apologizing for your dog's behavior? Need help communicating? At Canine Concepts, we can solve your problems. The answer to your problems is a phone call away. Call 410-477-2000 for a free demo evaluation. Call 410-477-2000.
A lot of stuff closed down, but people got to eat. Talking about fresh produce, I'll tell you fresh produce. Benny Sedano. Small businesses, look. Benny Sedano, Ben's Produce. Call him up at 410-799-7833. That's 410-799-7833. Benny Sedano, okay? Let us serve you. Got the best produce around, the freshest. You can talk to him, man. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. I love the guy. He's my friend, too. Look, 410-799-7833. Call him up. Ben's Produce. Let us serve you. Get it? Let us. Hold on. Jesus Christ.
Or go to WampaRemodeling.com.
While I was lying in the Army
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Sowers speaking. Who's calling tonight?
They said I had 48 hours to live. They even sent a flag to put in my coffin.
Ain't that shit? I say hello and they hang up on my. So, what else? Oh yeah, you want to call up, man? We got like 15 minutes left, man. You can call 410-922-6680. That's 410-922-6680. And if you're in Cuba, man, long distance, call toll free 1-800-922-6680. 1-800-922-6680. Call. Hey. I'm so glad we had this time together.
Coronavirus is spreading in the United States, and I know all of us are concerned, and all of us are involved. I'm Dr. Miller. Concern is understandable, but there's something you can do. Get the facts about practical ways to protect
Hold on.
and those you love. Robin and
In a minute, we're going to have an announcement from Mr. Corona. Hold on.
Keep your hands off. Stay at home if you're sick. Avoid close contact with those who are sick and make sure to cover your coughs and sneezes. The CDC Foundation is a non-profit organization focusing on immediate and critical needs that help protect our communities. We all have a role to play. As one person, one country, one world, all of us will be the response. Go to www.cdcfoundation.org to learn more about protecting yourself and your community.
Listen every Sunday from 6:05 to 6:20 a.m. for a broadcast from the internationally known St. Jude Shrine in Baltimore. St. Jude is the patron saint of despair and hopeless cases. Join us in prayer every Sunday from 6:05 to 6:20 a.m. on WCBM.
For the best hits of the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Hello, Mr. Corona. What's up, Mr. Corona? How you doing? How you doing, Mr. Corona? Hold on.
Or at work, wake up with a Merson person and get radio hugs from Diane Lynn. Weekdays at 6 and 10 a.m. Baltimore's classic hits are on 99.9 FM in Harford County, Q13.
There's Mr. Corona. I want to tell you. There's Mr. Corona. I need everybody to go on the roof and party, especially Savage Mode's house for roof and party. Everything's going to be great. Forget about it. It's going to be all right. Enjoy yourselves. And that's Corona. Announcement from Mr. Corona. All right.
And soon, you're putting those words into a conversation.
Holy crap, man. Thank you, Mr. Corona. Jesus. Well, there you go. That was Mr. Corona. Thank you. Take it easy, man.
The app is really smart. It actually keeps track of the words I'm struggling with so I can practice them and get better. I chose Babbel because it was created by real language teachers.
Yeah.
Built it around real life. How people actually communicate and what they care about. I can't wait to use my new language skills in the real world.
I can't either.
Gracias, por favor.
With Babbel, get
Jose Crebo, I know
Spanish,
something.
French, German, and more. It just takes 10 to 15 minutes a day. Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com or download the Babbel app and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
More of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Super Citizen Radio Network with Pat and Valerie McDonough. and our two special guests, Sophia Montgomery and Nicolee Ambrose. And we're going to conclude the program this evening in our final segment, talking about the mayor's race. But first, I want to take a call from CJ, who is in our favorite place, Dundalk. CJ, you're on. Good evening. Well, he didn't hold on, but he was on a long time. We apologize. We'll catch you next week, CJ. Also want to update you on a few things. Of course, we have this radio program, which is on every Saturday evening from 8 until 10. We have a lot of great special guests that come in. And the show has been on since the Lincoln administration. And,
I haven't been on for that long.
no, I know.
That's right.
I grabbed you when you were a baby and taught you.
Oh, that's why they're getting in the mail. They're getting a mail.
But also, we have our TV show, which we will be on the air next Sunday, 10 a.m. on public airwaves on Sinclair Broadcasting.
Right. It'd be a waste of time.
What is it, 24 My TV?
I got mine. I didn't open mine either.
That's Comcast. It's like 46 is.
No, I got it. I'm getting ready to throw. I'm holding it for evidence in case it's used as evidence against us.
And you can see all 30 of our television shows on our website, which is supercitizenusa.com. And you can also go there as a special section on that website called PayPal.
Yeah.
If you want to keep us on television or keep us on every week,
gravestones on
go to PayPal.
Yeah.
We need PayPal. We need your money to fight to keep the only conservative television show.
Hallelujah. I have my thing with it. I ain't even opened up yet because I didn't have a chance to. But I will. I'll open it. You
know, where are you going to hear this stuff? You're not going to hear this stuff. I mean, this is the opportunity to do this. So anyway, the mayor's race. Coming up very quickly, the Democrat primary. Nicolee will tell us about what's happening with the Republican side. But we have, and I'll give you my opinion first, and then you can all go off of that, okay? So, very interesting dynamics occurring, unexpected, and because of the virus is going to affect this race. I believe that most of the people in Baltimore City who vote or have any sense at all want real change. I think they believe that Jack Young has basically shot himself in the head, is dumb as a box of rocks, and he's been around for 20 years, and what difference has he made? And I don't think black or white voters are crazy about Jack. The young guy, what is his name, Scott?
Brandon
Scott.
Another guy who he's young, but he brings more of the same. He's been around for like 15 years. There's no real change there. T.J. Smith has some ideas. He doesn't have any money. He really hasn't established a good campaign. He hasn't really gotten the word out, although I know it's tough to do that. And so I write those three off, okay? That leaves three other people. That leaves Sheila. What is Sheila's last name?
Dixon.
Oh, yes, Sheila Dixon. And then we have this new Mary Miller who has come on the scene, an Obamite.
Big time
Obamite, the candidate of the super rich, of the powerful.
Yes.
Which Baltimore City doesn't have many of those folks.
It's like one zip code, yes.
And then we have...
Okay, maybe two zip
and
codes.
I apologize, and I sincerely mean it if I mispronounce this man's name. It's Thuru, T-H-U-R-U, Thuru.
Lavajna. I think it's Lavajna.
Okay, well, anyway, we'll call him Thuru. All right, because I don't want to insult the name. Now, I think it's between these three, and now let me tell you why. Sheila Jackson. Sheila Dixon actually won the last election. Now, she lost by technically 1,000 votes, but everybody that I know in Baltimore City in politics say they stole it from her, and they put Happy Holly in there, or Healthy Holly, whoever that name is. So anyway, so we can't say that people are going to hold against Sheila the fact that she stole some of these little cards, because they would have held it against her in the last election, and that's even farther back. So I don't think they're going to hold it against her in this election. Mary Miller has $10 trillion that she spent. She has more money than Russia at this point in time. So all the big money guys are trying to buy the election for Mary Miller, and she's a big Obamite. And I got to tell you, Mary, you got to change your commercials. They're on every 5 minutes, and they're really not very good. They're getting boring. You really need some new commercials. And then Mary got into trouble because one of her rich enthusiasts got crazy and started a
Crazy in
super
the
PAC.
head.
And in his super PAC, he said the purpose of the super PAC was to go after white voters, which does not go big in Baltimore, where 60% of the votes are not white. So I think Mary may have hurt herself a little bit. And then finally, Theroux has, I've got to tell you, the guy has impressed me. I consider myself to be a scholar on criminal justice, okay? And he has some of the best ideas and honest ideas I've ever seen on public safety in Baltimore City. I'm very impressed with him. And I don't know if other people are impressed with him, but I am. So I'm going to say the race is between those three. And then I'm going to conclude by saying this. I think Mary hurt herself, but she's going after that 40% white vote who are really looking for change. And Sheila has never been able to get the white vote. I don't know why, but she killed Pugh in the black community. She killed him. Sheila will kill again in the black community, but Sheila said this. Don't call me a racist, okay? Sheila said this, and Kawese and Fumi said this, that this mail-in vote is a problem with black voters. It's a problem with black voters. They don't get the numbers that they need, and Sheila is very worried about that, very worried. So Sheila may be in trouble, but I'm going to say that I think the vote, the election is between Theroux, Sheila, and Mary Miller. That's my opinion. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How about you, Sophie? I know you're a Baltimore County resident.
I am a Baltimore County resident, but in the hospitality business, we sell Baltimore City. And since Freddie Gray, we have not had an opportunity to do that. So if Mr. Theroux is into public safety, that would be a big selling point, no doubt about it, for the surrounding county, because that's where a lot of our business will come from.
I can tell you, I'm a scholar. I've studied this for 20 years. I was on the Judiciary Committee. And he has the best solutions I have ever seen from anyone. And if he becomes mayor and he can outrank and outrun and outpunch that bunch in that city that run things, it's going to make a difference. It'll make a difference.
And personally, we used to go down to Baltimore City all the time, to the theaters and to Little Italy, etc. We have to think twice about that. We've had to think twice about that,
Makes sense. All right.
which is unfortunate.
Nicolette.
The Democrat or the Republican?
Well, do the Democrats real quick and then tell us about the Republicans.
You know, early on, the only other name I'd add to that was I heard a lot of people talking about TJ, but I haven't heard so much. And, you know, at
She's
first there were a
faded,
bunch of signs up, and no, I'm just not seeing that energy anymore. But I know there were a lot of folks talking about him at first. It's all of this stuff in this virtual world of campaigning is it's always get out the vote, but it's virtual get out the vote now. So this comes down to how good your team is, how good your use of technology is.
That's all I gotta say.
And I really think it's anyone's game if they are innovative with their campaigning.
I think that's a big point. Now, how about the Republicans? What's happening on that side?
All right. So we have 7 candidates filed to run. I will say we did notice that several of them switched their registration right before they filed, but I'm going to specifically mention the 4 who turned up to one of the only Republican mayoral candidate forums that I am aware of, and I have to give a shout out to our Maryland Young Republicans for hosting this mayoral forum and giving these Republicans a chance to speak their mind. And I believe we had
Brett,
Sulieka Bazemore.
I don't think you're going to get on, but I'm going to ask you if you want to
We had
hold
Kat
on
Bird show up. We
and
had
get
Ivan
on for the,
Gonzalez.
Tom
And
Ward
first
show,
we
which is
had
right
our
after
Baltimore City
I
GOP
couldn't name your number
chairwoman
one caller right after
and
the news.
the chairman of our Black Republican Caucus for the state of Maryland, Shannon Wright, also running.
Well, because of your position, you really don't want to pick someone.
You got to tell people, man. You know, he had 20, he had a freaking guy at 23 goddamn minutes.
I was proud. I will say, you know, because obviously I just from putting my political analyst hat on, the folks who were clearly the most aware of the issues facing Baltimore were absolutely Shannon Wright
2 minutes, heartbreak.
and Kat. It was clear there was a lot of kind of surprise about the questions from the other candidates. So, but you know, I have to really give a shout out to Shannon. She's been a longtime Republican. She's done a lot of leadership in the party, and I am of course grateful for her stepping forward.
Now, Valerie, you have the final 2 minutes, and we'd like to hear your thoughts.
All right, my thoughts were, a few weeks ago, I said TJ. And now I'm kind of changing mine to Theru,
Yes.
Lavaja. But the one thing that I want to say, does anybody in the listening audience or any of you actually think that Baltimore City is going to change no matter who the mayor is?
So here's what we have to do. Step one, because I'm a resident of Baltimore City, step one must be electing a Republican somewhere in the Baltimore City structure, even if it's just a councilman race. Because guess what? We have to have a councilman on these different committees to request an audit. Nothing gets audited in Baltimore City because there's not a single Republican anywhere. There has not been a Republican elected to Baltimore City Council since 1939. This city's problems are solely the fault of the Democrat Party of Baltimore City.
No question about it.
No one else owns it.
And the Democrat left.
Exactly. So obviously, we want folks to go out and vote. We want them to let their voices be heard this primary. It's the voters who get to decide this. But most of all, when it comes to the general, please, residents of Baltimore, give a Republican a chance.
We want to thank our three lovely ladies this evening. Did a good job, really. And Andy Harris was lovely also.
Yeah, you go, Congressman Harris.
Well, always remember, truth and knowledge guarantee liberty. Keep the faith and keep punching.
Stay connected with stimulating talk and breaking news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM, Baltimore, and WCBM.com.
Thank you very much for a great show. I'm still learning how to do this new freaking thing, but thanks a lot. Be safe, and see you next week.
I'm Richard Jordan, Fox News. Democrats are now